Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're going to be talking about the Battle Cry of Freedom. It is a multiplayer online Civil War hardcore shooter game. So if you're a fan of the channel, if you've been watching for some time, you'll know I like these historical placed hardcore shooter games. I've played Hell Let Loose and the games in the series that most recently have Asanzo, so the World War I games. And I've been interested in the Civil War setting for a while. And basically on my radar, I've had two games for a while now that I finally just tried this one, Battle Cry of Freedom. But it's been this one and then War of Rights. But War of Rights always had a lot of problems that made it look a little too janky for me. And up until recently, Battle Cry of Freedom probably fell under that same category. However, they have just released their 2.0 release as of, I believe, March 9th of 2023. So that's the new 2.0 release. And with that, they fixed a lot of the jank. And so in the spirit of full disclosure, they have provided this game to me, the code for this for free. So keep that in mind as we go through. But if you're a long-time viewer of the channel, you should know that free games don't influence my opinion too much, and so I'm going to be as honest as I would with any game in this video. And to be honest, as someone who's put in about 15 hours so far, I have really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. It's what you'd expect from a smaller scale, you know, a smaller developer with a lower budget on a game like this. But for what it is, it plays really well, and at least the entire time I've been playing it, now maybe there's just a boost because of the 2.0 release, but at least during the whole period that I've been playing it, servers have been full, there's been plenty of players, and so game modes have been lively and fun. And so just as a general note, if you don't want to listen to all of my ramblings about the various things I do and don't like about the game so far, I do like it and I do recommend it if you're a fan of hardcore historical first-person shooter games. Well, first or third, you can toggle between them. I prefer it in first person, but you can play it in third. Like I said, it's a Civil War game, so obviously the primary weapons you're going to be using are going to be muzzle-loading rifles, and so there's an extended reload time, but there is melee combat, there's bayonets, there's swords, there's tools that you can use to build things like shovels, axes, hammers, stuff like that you can, you know, kill people with them as well. And there is a lot of customization, so there's a lot of good stuff to talk about, but I do recommend it for what it is if you're a fan of historical shooter games. So that's the TLDR, but now let's just get into a little bit more of the stuff. And so for one thing, I do genuinely like the customization in this game because there is a lot of it. And so when you get into the game, you can create characters, and I believe since there's a button for new, I would assume you can have multiple characters at any given time, so that's fun. But the big thing is, I mean, you can totally customize the face, or at least, I shouldn't say totally customize. There's two race options, white and black, and then you have a bunch of preset head options, and then you can choose your hair, beard, hair color, if you're going to have a pipe or a cigar in your mouth or something, and glasses or not. So it's not crazy, but it's enough to give you a good sense of it, and I like that all the hair and beard options are after historical people from the Civil War. That's fun. I went for the Bragg and Thomas look because it's relatively similar to the style I rock in real life. But there is some customization in the character, but the real customization comes from the uniforms and your equipment. So one good thing about this game is it's not all just everyone using the same thing. There are a lot of variety, and I also like that there's a historical context behind the variety, so not every class of person can use every type of gun. So if you're an enlisted officer or an enlisted soldier, you're not going to be running around with a Colt 1860 Army revolver. You're going to have a muzzle-loading rifle of some sort. But also there's more than that, because if you go down through the different regiments, you're going to have different guns available, because historically not everyone in the Civil War had access to the same firearms. So the 54th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry was historically a all-black unit during the Civil War. And unfortunately at the time that meant that they did not get the best equipment, and so you're going to start off with two of the, I wouldn't say lower end rifles because I've used both of these and they both work really well, but at the time they would have been the older surplus, less expensive stuff. And I like that historical note. And then you go to something like the sharpshooters, which is probably my favorite regiment to play as, and they only have one rifle available because that's the standard issue rifle that the 2nd U.S. sharpshooters were equipped with. It was the 1859 Sharps rifle, and this comes with the option for a socketable bayonet. And I like all of that, you know, and there's cavalry, and they even have the Spencer carbine in the game, which historically did exist for Union cavalry troops in the Civil War, and that's a 7-shot repeater, you know, and you've got different artillery troops, a bunch of different specialist things. There's a lot to go off of in here. Like I said, my favorite classes to play as so far, I obviously like playing as the cavalry. They're a lot of fun. You can do a lot of... The guns on horseback are pretty bad, except for the Confederates, who get a sawed-off shotgun, which is a little bit OP on horseback. The carbine's not great on horseback, but using a sword is. It works rather well, and it's a lot of fun. I like that. I like being the sharpshooters, and of course, being from Wisconsin, I spent a lot of time kitting out and specifically deciding what my Wisconsin ones were going to look like. So I had a lot of fun with that. The Confederacy also exists in the game. I don't play as them too much, just because I like the weapons available to the Union a lot more, but I have played a couple rounds as the Confederates just to kind of get a feel for them, and out of them, I prefer the palmetto sharpshooters the best. But like I said, they've got all the same sort of stuff, specific cavalry with, you know, some pretty fun guns. Like I said, the William and Moore shotgun is one that I know a lot of people are a big fan of using, and so it's a lot of fun. I definitely enjoy how much you can customize everything in this game. It goes down even further than this, so I showed you some weapons and all the different classes and all that sort of stuff, but it also goes down to specific uniform stuff. You know, you can customize pretty much every single aspect of the uniforms down to very, very little details to get exactly what you're looking for. And I definitely really like that. So from a customization standpoint, this game has a lot going for it. Then when you go to play the game, so let's say you've gotten into the game, you've customized everything, now you want to play it. There are 3 different game modes. I haven't done Commander and Conquest yet. It says, in Commander and Conquest, players command a company of AI soldiers to try and outmaneuver each other while securing important strategic locations. I think that one might be fun. I just haven't tried it yet. I started off with humans versus bots just to get a feel for the game, learn the controls, all that sort of stuff. When you get into this, you will be playing with a lot of humans. Basically, every round of humans versus bots I played was all the humans on the Union side fighting against endless waves of bot enemies on the Confederate side. And it was a great way to learn the game, and it was decent fun. But eventually I moved on to Conquest and Siege, which, like I said, all day yesterday and so far today, all of the servers have been full, so there was no wait time. I click on it and load it, and I'm in the game, playing with full teams of humans. So it's been a lot of fun. I think humans versus bots is a great way to learn the basic mechanics and all that sort of stuff of the game, but eventually Conquest and Siege is going to be your main game mode. So that's kind of all of the surface level stuff from the menu. So the game mode is quite simple. There are 2 sides, the Union and the Confederacy, and there will be a number of capture points. You capture them like you would in any FPS game, by having more people on your team in the capture zone than the other team. Once you've captured a point, your team will get points for that point as long as you hold it. At the end of the time limit, the team with the most points wins. There are also certain maps where capturing all the points will result in an immediate victory, and there are at least 2 that I've played so far where there is only 1 capture point, and it's typically held inside a well-fortified structure, and then one team just attacks while the other defends. Nothing too wild and crazy about the game modes in general. As for gameplay, you spawn in as whatever class you've chosen. There are limits on how many people can be things like cavalry, but I typically don't have a problem getting the class that I want to play as. You have unlimited lives, but dying more seems to increase your respawn time. Most troops can choose from different spawn points, and forward spawn positions can be placed to get into the action quickly. Other troops, like the cavalry for example, always spawn at the back of the map. There are tons of different weapons in most of the maps, like artillery, cannons, Gatling guns, and even punt guns that you can use. They take time to operate without a full team, but can be extremely effective and satisfying to use if done correctly. And engineers can also have a tremendous effect on the environment of each map. From digging giant trenches to building full-blown bunkers and trenches, to barricading doors and choke points, and placing horse-killing spikes, engineers can be the difference between an easy victory and a crushing defeat. You can also play as a dedicated musician or banner bearer, where you are specifically non-combative but provide boosts to any allied troops near enough to you to hear the music you're playing or to see the flag you're holding. There are also chaplains, medics, and other specialty units that do the same type of thing. In fact, all units except the basic enlisted units give boosts to nearby allied troops. Non-commissioned officers, for example, make nearby allied troops move slightly faster. Stuff like this can make large differences in gameplay if the right team is ready to take advantage of them. For now, most of the games I've played have been individual skirmish engagements for the most part. Sort of an every man for themselves type of thing, with the exception of larger groups picking well-fortified spots to engage in cover and fire maneuvers to defend strategic areas. However, I have already seen a few examples of organized line combat, and that has been pretty fun. In this game, a firing line can be absolutely devastating to an enemy charge, and it is very satisfying when it works. Speaking of line battles, to celebrate the 2.0 release of the game, the devs are hosting a large-scale line battle event on March 12th, 2023, at 9 o'clock p.m. CET or 3 o'clock p.m. EST. This will be awesome to participate in, so I recommend any people who are interested in the game to check that out. I will have a link to their Discord server in the description of this video, and I recommend checking it out if you want to learn more or maybe even join a regiment. Community-wise, like I said, in the 15 to 20 hours I've been playing it, it has been pretty active around the time that most people get off work. Where I live, that's right around 3 to 9 p.m., so a lot of open stuff during those hours. Easy to find large servers to play against all humans, but the game is still fun during the lulls of the game, when it will auto-populate with bots to fill in the empty human slots for the rest of the day. There is a voice chat that is typically very active, sometimes too much so, as it can get chaotic trying to communicate. However, this is at least a little charming and probably accurate to a Civil War battlefield. The game has a constant stream of mostly period-accurate background music that I have yet to get sick of, and it really helps you get your head into the time and place that you're playing in. So far, I have encountered the normal FPS annoyances, taunting, jeering, yelling, trolling, etc., but nothing that was anything out of the ordinary for an FPS game with voice chat. And I have only been in one match where I experienced any type of racial slurs or anything like that, but it was so confused and untargeted that it did not feel genuine in any way. So those worried about playing a game like this because of racists probably don't need to worry. Plus, if you find the voice chat to be too annoying for any reason, it can easily be turned off in the settings menu. Honestly, all in all, the game is a lot of fun. The combat feels measured and slow because of the fact that you are using Civil War era equipment, but at the same time it feels tense and action-packed. Unlike a game like Hell Let Loose, where you may go 5 to 10 minutes without encountering a single enemy, you never go long in Battle Cry of Freedom without seeing someone. And whether that's a priest running towards you trying to kill you with a cross, or a panicky infantryman who misses their first shot and then frantically backpedals while trying to reload, I find it to be a very enjoyable and rewarding combat experience. Now, of course, this is an indie game from a smaller studio, so you should not expect a AAA game. But if you enjoy historical hardcore shooter games, especially anything from the mid-1800s, then I think this game offers a very solid experience, especially for the price that they're charging. And it's easy to jump right into it and have fun with it. So I do recommend it. But that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful or at least entertaining. But I hope to see you on the battlefield. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.